ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Sanctuary Theater and the voice of these broadcasts, T.H.E. Vox. Immodest state.
Hear me out. A lot of the times we focus on modesty and it has to do with the external. On the external, you have a lack of fabric, clearly. But truthfully, what we need to focus on is what's going on the internal. What's inside. My sisters, I ask you to take a deeper look in the mirror. We need to have a modesty about ourselves. Not only externally, but internally as well. Think back to when you were a little girl and how you viewed the world. I ask you, are you seeking love or are you seeking likes? There's a big difference. Some may say pictures are worth 1,000 words. But if you don't speak what's really going on inside, can anybody hear you? I ask you to look in the mirror and love that queen that stares back at you. She is not dictated by the whims of the world and the wiles of the opinionated. You see, I want you to be so comfortable in your own skin that you don't have to show any skin at all. This is T.H.E. Vox, over and out.
Believe me when I tell you, you will come to the place in your life where you have authority over all the power of the enemy, where you are treading on serpents and scorpions, where you are casting out the power of the enemy, where you are ruling and reigning with Christ Jesus. And he knows that once you get to that place, once you get to your place of destiny, he has no hope of ever taking you out of the plan of God for your life. So someday you got to stand up and tell the devil, you better fight me before I get there. Because when I get there, when I get to that place that God said was mine, I'm going to do some serious damage to your kingdom. So you better take your best shot now. You better shoot at me while you can. You better fight me while you're able. Because there's coming a day when God's going to take me out of your ability. God's going to lift me out of your reach. And all of your hope of destruction is going to be over. Tell somebody you better fight me before I get there. See, the problem is that these adversities and attacks are sent against us to cause us to draw back and to lock the doors from which your destiny is supposed to walk through. Did y'all hear that? Because the enemy saw something in you that many times the people raising you and the people around you did not see. And therefore he began to walk into your life and hurt you in an area that he knew that God had destined to release your blessing through. And so when we become hurt, when we become wounded, when we become disillusioned, we begin to lock the very doors and pull back in the very areas that God has destined to bless us in. But when there comes a moment of understanding, when there comes a moment of awakening, you begin to take the keys back to your life. You begin to get the keys back to your giftings and your talents. You quit being a victim to your environment, and you quit trying to blame everybody else. And you say, I'm going to take the keys back to my life. And you know what you start doing? You start walking back through your life, and you start unlocking those doors, and you're saying, what entered my life in a weakness is getting ready to come back out through a strength. You may have hurt me there, but you didn't kill me there. And you should have killed me while you had the chance. You should have got me while I was down. Because see, now I know too much. Now I'm filled with too much strength. Now I've got too much faith. And I'm going to unlock every door, and I'm going someplace big in God. So you better fight me before I get there. Hallelujah. I think somebody ought to say I'm going somewhere.
Going somewhere.